Climate change is a pressing issue that has sparked strong emotions worldwide, particularly anger. In fact, nearly half of Australians express anger about our warming planet. But what does this climate anger mean, and how can it impact our actions? Research shows that while anger can energize individuals to act, it can also lead to feelings of despair when faced with significant obstacles. The emotional response often depends on what specifically provokes this anger and who individuals perceive to be responsible. Interestingly, not all emotional reactions are the same. Among various emotions, anger stands out as particularly motivating. Studies reveal that those who experience intense anger over climate change are more likely to engage in climate protests or adopt environmentally friendly behaviors. This anger can also correlate with lower levels of stress, anxiety, and depression. So what fuels this anger? Data from over 5,000 Australians revealing that just under half reported feeling anger about climate change. Participants expressed a wide range of emotions, from succinct statements to detailed explanations, shedding light on the diversity of climate anger. Ultimately, we identified 13 distinct kinds of climate anger. The most prevalent type of anger directed at the perceived inaction and apathy of others. About 60% of angry respondents cited frustration over a lack of action and concern around climate issues. This anger was often aimed at various targets: government leaders for failing to act, individuals for their indifference, businesses neglecting environmental responsibilities, and even entire nations for their role in the crisis. Furthermore, a significant portion of participants, around 13%, expressed anger towards climate change deniers. These feelings underscore the multitude of challenges activists face when trying to garner support for climate action. As we delve further into understanding climate anger, it becomes crucial to recognize how these emotions shape our responses to the environmental crisis. While it's common to feel frustrated, channeling that anger into productive advocacy can lead to meaningful change. Emotions like anger can serve as powerful motivators, but they must be harnessed effectively to combat the ongoing climate crisis. In conclusion, acknowledging and understanding the complex nature of climate anger can pave the way for proactive measures. By identifying specific sources of frustration and addressing them, individuals can transform their anger into a powerful force for change, rather than allowing it to curdle into despair. Exploring these dynamics reveals not just the depth of feelings surrounding climate change, but also the potential for those feelings to fuel activism and drive action on this critical issue. So, if you're feeling the heat of climate anger, remember, you're not alone. Acknowledge that anger, understand its roots, and use it as a catalyst for change. Together, we can address the climate crisis head-on and turn our frustrations into actions that matter. There are many voices raised in anger about climate change, but the reasons vary. Some direct their frustration at large corporations, believing they are the primary culprits, while others feel a deep-seated anger toward humanity as a whole. A portion of respondents voiced their concerns about the damage that climate change is inflicting on the planet and the slow pace of the required action. Interestingly, many feel a sense of powerlessness in the face of such monumental challenges, believing their individual efforts are merely drops in a vast ocean of inaction. Additional factors driving anger include the anticipated injustices faced by younger generations, the environmentally harmful behaviors they observe from others, and the perceived lack of cooperation among individuals and nations to combat this pressing issue. Some individuals express unfairness, feeling that certain countries or people bear the brunt of sacrifices, while others do little to change their ways. We aimed to explore how these different sources of anger influence action towards combating climate change, we found clear patterns. Those who expressed anger about the inaction of others tended to demonstrate more proactive environmental behaviors. This included reducing meat consumption and joining climate marches, actions specifically fueled by frustration at ordinary citizens or governmental inaction. Interestingly, while individuals who are irked by others' apathy reported heightened anxiety and depression, those who were angry at government neglect exhibited fewer symptoms of such distress. What stands out is that feeling angry about powerlessness or broadly blaming humanity for the crisis didn't often translate into meaningful action. Yet these feelings were linked to increased depression and anxiety for some participants. Younger individuals particularly voiced these feelings of anger, indicating that while climate activism may soothe feelings of despair, being dismissed or ignored in this fight can intensify negative feelings. Anger, however, can also serve as a powerful motivator. It's a complex emotion, but responding to it can lead to taking action against perceived wrongs. For climate change, feeling angry about widespread inaction can prompt personal initiatives. However, if anger is misdirected toward fellow citizens for their lack of action, it might negatively affect one's well-being. Surprisingly, even with 49% of Australians expressing anger towards climate change, suggesting strong care for the issue, there's a common misunderstanding that most people don't feel the same way. Particularly among younger Australians, this is even more pronounced, with a staggering 57% expressing their anger in 2021. In the United States, assumptions about public support for climate policy are frequently skewed. Many believe only 40% of the population supports climate action, but real numbers show it could be as high as 80%. Australians mirror this trend, where widespread support for climate initiatives contrasts sharply with beliefs about community attitudes. As we navigate the complexities of this challenge, we must reframe our understanding of anger. Often, we have been trained to see it as a negative feeling. Yet, within the context of climate change, it could be a powerful motivator, a rallying cry to collective action. So if you find your anger flaring, know that you're not alone. Acknowledge that anger, understand its roots, and channel it as a driving force for change. Together, we can face the climate crisis squarely and turn our frustrations into impactful actions that pave the way for a better world.